No profit in your own home. Don't try to sell shit to your family. No, that's not what it means. Why does a master like Jesus say you can't, no profit in your own home? You can't prophesy, you can't bring the new, you can't bring the freedom. Why does Buddha leave in the middle of the night? He has a 1-year-old son and a young bride, and he's a prince to be and an emperor to be. And he just leaves in the middle of the night. Why is there such a thing as sannyasins, where they renounce, shave their heads, change their name? Monks, same thing in the West. We do the monasteries, brother so-and-so, but you renounce, you've cloistered, you close yourself off from the bazaar, meaning the world of marketing and business. The bazaar. Hello, Sadhguru, how you doing? So when we try, you've been through this, you've tried to explain about the solar flash and the reptilians or whatever, or magic and miracles to your family or those close to you or your village or your neighborhood or your circle, and only to be met with, all right, you're kind of losing your stuff, or that's really weird, or you kind of, you can tell there's a wall there. You're not received. Why is this so? It's just spiritual physics, really. Don Juan, in his teachings of the hard-headed Carlos Castaneda, college professor from UCLA, I think it was, one of the lessons early on is disrupting the routines of life. This is an old subject. I've talked about it before, and so tons of masters have talked about it. I'm not a master. I'm a poor apprentice. I'm on probation, really. But disrupting the routines of life. It used to be, now we're getting better at it, zoos were horrible, like just a little cage that this polar bear would walk the 30 feet, back and forth and throw its head up and just, it's like an insane asylum. It's a routine. Or if you've ever rented horses somewhere, they're kind of sour. They can't wait to get back to the barn. They're barn sour. They're in a routine, a habit. Many people are like that. There's just a path between the kitchen and the chair, to watch TV. It's kind of like we're in routines. What's the difference between the rut and the grave? 6 feet. So when you have a whole culture that is programmed and has certain routines, like Sundays, Mondays, thank God it's Friday, work cubicles, working, wearing ties, being all tied up, all that, the routine of the collective programming, shopping, Black Friday. We are routine Pavlovian animals in this culture. And so when you bring something that's going to, and they become comfortable. It's like a dog. Got a dog here for illustration? Anybody want to come? Gab, Allie? All right, we'll see. If you've had dogs, if you take their collar off, you can tell they're a little nervous. They'll put their paw on you, like, put that back on. Taking off the control collar, and it works for humans too. Or cows, when you open the gate for them, they're like terrified of going outside of the gate. They're so used to, this is our little routine world. This is all we know between here and the barn, the field, that's it. That's why you can put a lead cow with a bell on it, and all the other cows will follow that cow home. That's why you can hold up examples in class of, look at Johnny, he got a 98, or Susie's doing great. Oh, I better be like Johnny or Susie. So we have Pavlovian training of humans also. So when you start disrupting the routines of life, it's Labor Day in America. We just had a holiday. And we avoid the traffic. So we figure out, here's when the masses are going up the hill to Sedona. And here's when they're going to go back down, because that's when there's going to be some accident and a 4-hour backup, right? But everyone who has to get back to work for Monday, Tuesday morning, that's what they have to do. I think today is Labor Day, actually. And so the routines, whether it's standing up and salute the flag or sing the national anthem, or, we're Pavlovian trained humans. We're human cattle, sheeple. We're free-range humans, right? So we have routines, alarm clocks, so forth, right? And you need a routine. If you look 2 videos back, I say, until you're free, you need a routine. But a self-chosen routine, a routine that's actually helping you, that you've chosen yourself as you're trying to wake up. Hey, let me try this. Oh, it just shows you our house. I thought it would mirror image flip it so you could read stuff. I can't do that. I'm sure there's a function. But anyway, so when you start waking up in this cult of routines and Pavlovian training, you vote Democrat or blood publican, that's it. Got to make a choice, right? Or Coke or Pepsi, Ford or Chevy. Are you a dog person or a cat person? Are you one of us or one of them? If you're not with us, you're against us. That whole divide and conquer thing, right? We had a president not too long ago in the United States say, if you're not with us, you're with the terrorists. On the Senate floor. And people are like, I'm like, holy monkeys. Really? That obvious programming. So this programming, this routinized, routine, habit, the rut, what's the difference between the rut and the grave? 6 feet, right? This rut, when you start waking up, you're going to go, oh, like Don Juan says, you're going to disrupt the routines of life. We used to do trainings where we would go to people, try walk backwards, close your eyes, brush your teeth with your other hand, put the other leg into the pants, start with the right leg instead of the left leg, or whatever, the opposite of what you're used to. Comb your hair with your other hand. Why? Just to give the body a chance to go, and your consciousness to go, oh, to kind of have a wake up of, I'm disrupting these automatic routines. I'm a yogi, I can do anything. Yogis are not when you're at one with things, you hand Jesus a guitar, he's not going to say, I don't know how to play it. He's going to tap into the morphic field of Keith Richards and David Gilmour and whoever, Jimi Hendrix, and go, there you go, man. They're not hemmed, closed, bound, tied up by routines. So when you start disrupting your routines, because your spirit says, I'm brand new this morning. You're inspired, inspirited. Your spirit's, you're full of Him and spirit and love and God and radical truth and, and you might notice this is BS. This is bullshit. We're being programmed. And when you try to tell others that are still in the routines and they're wearing their collars, they're all tied up in ties or pantsuits, or, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever, putting on their war makeup. All these routines, as you disrupt them, you will threaten the cult. And when you threaten the cult, the mob turns on you, the collective. They're not aware of it. The collective is not aware that it's programmed by the collective. Like you'll have riots or something, and afterwards the TV reporter will go, why did you steal the TV? And they go, I don't know. Everybody else was doing it. They get caught up in the mob mentality because that's the collective programming of the mob mass consciousness, right? Now, maintain compassion. We're all, again, like my video 2 videos ago, the one that didn't get censored some, before the last one, or whatever. You need routines. Until you're awake, you'll need routines. But choose your own. Who's giving you the routine? School, church, your parents, the military, Right? Yeah, it works. You become a good robot slave, And the military is right for people. My sister, one of my best friends, went to the Air Force Academy, you know, and good for them because they didn't have their own discipline. Until you have your own inner direct, the whole of the law is love. Jesus reduces it, and everyone's like, Master, can we eat shellfish on alternate Tuesdays? And how long do our dresses need to be? And we want the law. All those books behind the lawyer, you know, those $30,000 books they're making payments on in their commercials, the gold and red little titled books. They bought them from Matthew Bender. They have codified, there's a code on how to behave, right? And if you're like, no, I'm spontaneously going to feel the moment and interpret it and do something spontaneous and not read off the teleprompter or the code books on how to be, you're going to disrupt the cult and threaten it. You know? It's going to be very threatening to the cultural system. And therefore, you can't be a prophet in your own home because they'll go, Tobias, that's not you. You always have the triple cheeseburger with the bacon. What? You're having quinoa? What's wrong? That's not you. Wow, that's weird, right? You'll stop. Your friends will actually say, you actually hear them say it, the programmed masses, right? Now, again, I don't want to be pejorative. We're all programmed at different levels. So until you're Avatar Krishna or whatever, you can walk on water and dissolve into your own UFO. You got programming. I do. But once you start seeing the game, you go, oh, I have programs, automatic Pavlovian training that have been enculturated in the current cult culture that I'm in. Then you can start going, oh, okay, I want to get rid of them. Now, I recommend don't try to get rid of them too fast because it's like shock therapy. It's like toxic shock syndrome. You know, your body tries to heal your emotions, your spiritual body wake up. People can go schizophrenic. There's something called spiritual casualties, meaning your Kundalini awakens too fast. Don't do that. I've been having kind of quite of a ride here the last year. I still have it sticking in my head right now at this moment as I'm talking to you. So you can't be a prophet in your own home. All of a sudden you change. That's why Jesus says you're going to be born again. You're going to be a whole new person. Daily you will die. This is Jesus. I'm using the Bible. Why? Because I'm talking mostly to Western people. But it's the same with Krishna, Buddha, all of the mystics, Rumi, Hafiz, you know, pure ayahuasca shamans. Most shamans are into black magic. Let's just tell the truth. Most religious people are into mind control and, you know, stealing energy and money from people and little boys, right? Let's be honest. I don't want to get banned here on YouTube again. Or, you know, censored some. So, as you start waking up, you're going to start telling people, everyone, Byron Katie, Eckhart Tolle. Byron Katie was 7 years going through her dark night of the soul. One day she woke up. Her family didn't know who she was. They're like, that's not you. Who are you? Her husband would literally yell at her. She'd be sitting on the couch and he'd go, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because he couldn't compute that she had been totally renewed, like Eckhart Tolle, Byron Katie, because her spirit, her soul came in and said, no, we're going to run the show here now, not the programming. So if you try to tell those close to you, they're going to go, just like in the Bible. I'm using the Bible because we're Western programmed. Where they said, isn't this Jesus, the carpenter's son from Nazareth? Nazareth is like living in, you know, some horrible bad neighborhood. What good could come out of that? That was the reaction to Jesus, right? Isn't he from Nazareth? Right? That was the reaction from the ones in the fancy robes and, you know, running the show with the super incense and, you know, the Pharisees. So it's the same everywhere. But within your family, they won't understand you either, unless they're on the same path as you. And unless they have the seed in themselves for awakening, then they'll go, I get it. I'm not ready to do it yet. I still have to stay here and, you know, live a normal life. But they get it. Others, you'll just feel very threatened. You're a free radical. You're a you're an anti-machine program. You're a Neo in the Matrix. You become something new in the Matrix, and it's very threatening to the whole Matrix, because it's kind of like popping a balloon. Like if we have 1,000 Buddhas, I have a T-shirt that says 1,000 Buddhas, awakened Buddhas, and this thing is over. 1,000 of us. Public now, not hiding. There's a lot of masters hiding. But when it becomes time for the collective consciousness to be public, full disclosure, and we'll pop the balloon, and everyone either has to wake up or get off the planet and relocate to another planet that's willing to suffer the iniquities of nuclear bombs and wars and suppression and glyphosate and Roundup and horrible GMOs and so forth. Earth has said she doesn't want that anymore. So it's happening very rapidly. It's actually very encouraging. Wow, I'm really talkative. I'm kind of amazed. So you can't be a prophet in your own home if the home is still in the cult, in the culture. But go, you're weird. That's not you. What happened to you? You changed. You betrayed the cult. You betrayed the mafia family of our family. Wow, you're really different now. You're not what you used to be. Yeah, you're going to threaten the mass morphic field of the collective unconsciousness. That's just how it is. I'm really weird or not understandable by Joy's family to a large extent because I don't fit. Now, if I'd been the doctor and, all that and had my yacht and one of my timelines, right? They'd all be kissing my ass, my feet. Oh, he's such a nice guy. Because I'd be nice on the surface, right? But because I've been a little bit real, it just threatens the program. I'm Neo. I'm threatening the Matrix program. And so the reaction is to kill you, just like the mob killed Jesus. I mean, Pontius Pilate thought that, my wife had a dream. I want to please my wife because I like, getting the poontang. See, I'm not allowed to say this. I shouldn't say this. So my wife had a dream, and she said, this guy Jesus is nice. You should really not crucify him on Easter, or Passover. It's not a good idea. And he goes, okay, I'll please my wife, so I keep, her liking me or giving me the goods. All right, let's be honest. And he gets up there and goes, how can we do this? And they go, well, we have this horrible guy, Barabbas. He murders, rapes their little girls, kills them, and steals their money on the byways. We finally caught him. And, Jesus is just some lunatic rabbi, teacher, weird teacher, some like me. I'm not like Jesus, but I mean the weird when we're trying to teach something new, right? So Pontius Pilate goes, oh, that makes sense. We'll just go. Do you want to kill this innocent, sort of flaky street preacher that's just sort of weird, or this guy that's actually raping your daughters and stealing your money? And he says, I got it. No problem. Of course they'll want to kill Barabbas. But he underestimated the programmed crowd, the collective mob consciousness, which I would venture to say right now, like some sign of it is the collective rage at Trump in America is our own shadow that we're projecting on him. It's really weird. It is Trump derangement syndrome, in my view. All this rage we have at one scapegoat. Just like people before have raged at Obama or raged at Hillary. They're just up there as targets for our subconscious, unconscious. And so the mob yells out, no, free Barabbas, let the murderer go, just like we let major war mongers go. We think Brennan and Comey and these guys, they're somehow good now. Oh, really? You don't know what they've been doing behind the scenes, no such agency, etc. I don't want to get into that too much, right? But so the mob mentality would rather stay there with their collars on. It's our monster. So they're unconscious of it. If you ask them, don't you want to be free? They'll go, of course. But don't change the way I eat. And don't change, I like government. Really? Govern, tell you what to do. Your mentation, mind control is what the word government means. So there's a few people like anarchists, true anarchy, not the weird Antifa anarchy. That's stupid, counterproductive, plays right into the George Soros' hands and so forth. But, so when you start disrupting the collective routines, that's why masters have had to stay hidden. Lao Tzu is leaving. He wasn't going to write the Tao Te Ching. He's leaving. He's done. He's leaving the bizarre, crazy bazaar, the marketplace, the crazy mind fog, mitote, illusion, Maya, the devil. Jesus calls it the illusion of Maya, the devil, right? Anarchy is for lovers. That's true. And so, I like that. So, Lao Tzu's trying to get out of town. He doesn't want to write anything down. He doesn't want any followers. So most masters are off the grid, outside the matrix. You got to go find them. Just like now, most ascended masters are not in 3D. Saint Germain doesn't have a social security number. Jesus doesn't have a social security. Krishna, Saint Anthony, Hilarion, Saint Teresa, who's a real one as well. Many, Yogananda, Babaji, of course, Sri Yukteswar, Lahari Mahashaya. Many saints and awakened ones. They don't live inside the matrix. You have got to go outside and meet them. So as you start disrupting the matrix, you will not be a prophet in your own home. They will turn on you. And forgive them for they don't know what they're doing. They're programmed, But you have to walk carefully inside the world. I'm using a lot of Jesus today. Be in the world, but not of the world. So as you start waking up, you can't tell others around you. You can, but they're only ready to hear because it's very deeply threatened. This is where you get the Judas principle, where they will betray you. They won't speak up for you. In private, they might go, "Yeah, I agree with you." But then once you're at the board meeting or at the company, they're hooked by their fear of losing their job or whatever. And they'll betray you in public. They won't vouch for you. Right? So being a prophet in your own home or in your own circle as you're waking up is often not possible. Be careful with that. Kind of, you pretend, you learn to have little ways of going, "No, I'm going for a walk now," or, and then eventually you will be free of it, and then you can come back out into the world, Like Sadhguru here, who's disappeared. That guy's doing huge work publicly, but at first he had to do it privately. He had to travel the world for like 4 or 5 years just to be alone, not to get stuck in any particular culture, any particular place. That's what he did. He traveled all the time to not get stuck. So, disrupting the routines of life, starting to become a Neo in the Matrix, you're going to threaten the Matrix some. And it's going to want you back in the box. So you have to be wise as serpents, kind of smart, outsmarting the Matrix. Play along with it. Look, see, I look good. I look normal. I go to the grocery store. I'm nice, But if you pound at them and start yelling too soon, "Wake up, you guys, this is bullshit," they're all going to turn on you and you get crucified one way or the other, There's some stories that say that Jesus actually, the masters he was working with said, "It's not quite ready yet. We're going to actually have you work inside the system." That's why he knew Nicodemus and Joseph of Arimathea. And, they were trying to get him to actually be a king. That's why they were threatened by that. Why else would the kings care? They don't care. Why would they kill all the little babies? Because he was supposed to be a temporal, meaning a real physical king also in Judea, to help change the whole tone of that from old, to letter of the law, to heart, to love. The whole of the law is love. It didn't work, because some say he got impatient and he started going directly to the people, stirring up the mob, or the people, like the people that were ready for him, the simple people. But he needed to come in with authority, because otherwise the authority system would kill him, which is what they ended up doing by stirring up the subconscious fears in the mob. I hope that makes sense. All right. So, disrupting the routines of life, you're going to do that. When you become a free radical, a Neo in the Matrix, you're going to go, "Why?" And the last time you did that, you was 2 years old. You were 2 years old going, "Why? Why? Why? Why?" Because the spirit was going, "This is bullshit. I don't want to join the program." But you're only 2, so you get overwhelmed. And then when you're 14, 15, 16, 17, you're doing the same thing. You're rebelling. Then you get overwhelmed. And then you join up. And you become a zombie slave, in a way. So it is very tricky. It's very tricky to walk through out of this prison planet that we're in. And there's millions of us now doing it. 15% of the planet's population out of 7.4 billion, it's 1 billion people that are ready to go, that will hear the message, but there's still the majority, the 85%, that are the programmed mob. These are, whatever, I'm making, the statistics may be pretty close, right? But that's just my opinion. So accept that and find your own tribe, you know. Join me on the webcast. We're having more and more people join in now. You can ask questions. You can just be totally incognito, use a fake name. No one knows you're watching or listening in or whatever. Or you can ask questions. You can come on camera. I'm very flexible with it, you know. Webcasts on Sundays, tobiaslars.com. And there's a bunch of people from around the planet. We have like 15 people or 10 people attending live, maybe 15, 20 people listening to it. But it's going to grow, I think, if the universe wants it to grow. We'll see. I'm not pushing it. And do your own work. InnerBodyAwakening.com. Start with that. Then the alchemyenergyprocess.com, theheartenergy.com are the three methods that I work with and I share with people. So much love. I'm looking at the time. I'm like, how did I get yakking so long? I don't want to keep them at like under 10 minutes. No profit in your own home. Totally normal. You're escaping the matrix. Totally normal. And there's lots of other people trying. But the real work is very different than, you know, sort of surface. Oh, I'm woke. Really? You're not woke. You've learned about woke, but to really do the work, that's a good step. That you even get the idea of woke or awakening. That's a great step. That's just the beginning. That's the beginning of learning to clear the programming, the viruses, the mind viruses. See my last video about that. Much love. TobiasLars.com. Check out the webcasts if you want. All right. Here you guys. Bless you guys. Much love. Yep, family stuff is the hardest for sure. All right. And it's the best place to learn. Also, it's the quickest place to learn is to work out the family stuff because it hooks you genetically, man. I always joke with people, all right, I'm done. Why don't you get a girlfriend or a boyfriend? That'll fucking help you the most on your spiritual path. It'll trigger you like crazy. All right, my battery's starting to die. Bye for now. Mo later.